to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal Mikel Arteta really like Nico Williams and would like to sign him this summer. And Berta has got a big job. Go and sign Nico Williams and prove your worth to the manager in this coming window. But the Nico Williams deal, although it looks a little bit easy, with the likes of Barcelona knocking themselves out, he's a player that is wanted by so many clubs, including Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, and a couple of others. So it's going to be a very risky deal. And Arsenal have done this kind of deals before, where you wait for one player along the summer, you don't get him, and you don't get anyone else. So the big question that I want us to do in this video is, how long should Arsenal wait for Nico Williams? It's a risky deal, but is it worth it? And what are the dynamics that we can use to get the deal done? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. In the comment box below, let me know. If Nico Williams doesn't end up at Arsenal, it's not a crime, and it doesn't mean that our new sporting director has ultimately failed. It just means that one deal didn't happen. I don't want people to get fixated over if he doesn't get Nico Williams, then he's not good enough. It is one deal, and it's one difficult deal. So let's start off with the dynamics of this deal. Nico Williams is a player that Arsenal have admired for quite some time. And last summer, Mikel Arteta and Edu tried to bite, and it was a very, very difficult buy. Arsenal decided they will not sign him, but Barcelona, who were in proposition, decided they wouldn't sign him either. So he stayed at Atletico Bilbao, giving Arsenal another chance this summer to go again and punch above our weight. He's such a good player. Mikel Arteta understands that. And as we look for a very interesting left winger, he's one of the players out there that you can actually look at. But the deal itself is complicated. First and foremost, he's got a release clause that is very, very cheap. It's around 45 million, and that makes it very, very easy on one end. On the other end, he's a player that is asking for around 300k per week, and Arsenal know that very well. The other thing that makes this deal very risky and difficult is the number of clubs involved. The player is wanted by over 10 top clubs around Europe, and he's got a plethora of options to choose from. Liverpool, Arsenal, Madrid, Barcelona, if they can get him, and any other club that has 45 million can actually sign Nico Williams. Now, I think with Berta coming in, Arsenal really are taking the next step. It's a bold decision for you to go for someone as experienced as Berta, and this should be a deal that you can actually maneuver and overcome. But this is how we go about it. First and foremost, I think Nico Williams as a player has nothing that would attract him to Arsenal over a club like Liverpool or over a club like Real Madrid. Madrid are UEFA Champions League finalists and winners in the last 6 years, so they're well decorated. Liverpool, on the other end, although they're out of the Champions League by God's grace to the hands of PSG, they are still going to be winners of the Premier League. So if they want him and they promise him to replace Salah, Arsenal are really going to struggle. It's not going to be an easy one like Arsenal want Nico, boom, it happens. It's going to be shake off Liverpool, shake off Chelsea, shake off Manchester United, Barcelona and Madrid in order for you to get the deal done. And I think Arsenal are one of the clubs that are actually less attractive in the rest. Now, when you think about the likes of Manchester United, I don't think they could get the deal done unless the player is really a big fan of Manchester United. At the moment, there are no reports about that. But think about Liverpool, think about Chelsea, and think about a club like FC Bayern. Now, why I brought Bayern in the picture is they've always tried to sign that one winger. And last summer, they tried to sign Desire Doué, and the deal didn't happen. So this summer, if they go again and try to sign Nico Williams, I wouldn't really be as surprised. Now, they are very interested in a couple of players from Germany, and that puts us on the safer side. But that doesn't mean, come this summer, they wouldn't really want to take advantage of that £45 million release clause opportunity. When it comes to Chelsea, we know they've got the money, but we also know they're looking for a player of a similar profile. In January, they tried to sign Alejandro Garnacho for 75 million, and they also tried to sign Mathys Tel from Bayern. They're looking for a left winger, and whether be it as a backup or as a starter, that depends on their manager. So if Arsenal are really going to sign Nico, Chelsea is one of the main rivals, that we are actually going to have to fight. I'm not afraid of Chelsea, but when it comes to transfers, I'm terrified of them. They're actually very good and they do their business swiftly and quickly. When it comes to Liverpool, I am really concerned about them. Their squad is aging with the likes of Trent, the likes of Van Dijk, and the likes of Salah, all looking to leave and getting older. So even if they stay, they still want fresh blood and younger blood. Nico Williams is one of the best you could get to play and replace Salah. He's got the pace, he's got the skills, and he's a very, very lethal finisher, and also one of the very talented assist makers that we saw at the Euros. So as Liverpool look at him, so do Arsenal. Now I want to say this: I think Liverpool have the money, and it came to last summer. They didn't spend any money in January. They didn't spend any money as well. So if Arsenal have been keeping their powder dry, Liverpool have kept their powder dry, and I think their powder is drier than ours. They've got more money because they haven't spent any single shilling or dollar or pound on any players for the new manager. And that puts them in a very good position as winners of the Premier League to go and trigger the release clause of the player and then just agree past the terms. I think they can afford to give him 300k a week. The Arsenal maybe can't because we have to renew contracts for the likes of William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Bukayo Saka. They're all left with 2 years, including Gabriel Martinelli, although Martinelli has a year to extend. So if Liverpool really offer 300k to this young guy, can Arsenal keep up? If Liverpool decided to bite the bullet, let go of Salah and bring in Nico Williams, can Arsenal compete in terms of salary and wages? So when it comes to competition, we are there, but I don't think we are the most attractive, and I don't think we are the best project placed for Nico Williams to join. But with Berta, that's what you've got to do. You've got to make Arsenal attractive, and you've got to make him believe he's coming to the better project of a Liverpool, Chelsea, and Bayern. And then the other problem that I've been talking about all the time on the channel, and today as well, is the wages. Even if it's not Liverpool, even if Liverpool don't offer him 300k, the player is asking for around 250 to 300k per week. That is big money. And it is big money for a club like Arsenal, like that historically doesn't pay a lot of money, but also it's very big money for us because we have so many players that are earning top dollar at the club right now. If you look at Saliba, if you look at Gabriel, if you look at the likes of Julian Timber, if you're going to renew their contracts, they expect salary increase and they expect good bonuses. So if you have around 5 players earning 300k at the club, it might not be as sustainable and suitable as we want it to be. So I won't be surprised if Arsenal and Mikel Arteta decide that this summer we're going to let go of some players that are earning a lot of money, just to make sure that when we increase the salary of Saliba and all the players whose contracts are being negotiated, we stay afloat. So when you bring in Nico Williams, there's a question there. Do you actually give him 300k? And if you don't, does that mean a deal breaker for him and he doesn't join us? Now for me, I'm going to say this. He's not worth 300k at the moment. And although I've said give him whatever he wants, I think I was a little bit under influence. I want to be as clear as possible. I think he's worth 200k per week. And that is still a lot of money. That is still very, very big money. If Arsenal can give him 200k a week, and Berta really gives him very good bonuses and convinces him that the better he becomes, the more money he will make, then that makes sense. But I think there will be more clubs out there that will be looking to snatch him up and give him around 250k per week. So it's a risky deal, and Arsenal really have to be very careful. It's one that we might spend a whole summer navigating around and trying to get done, and then eventually we don't. So the big question is it worth it? Is it worth the risk for us to go for Nico Williams? How long should Arsenal stay waiting for the deal to happen? And if it doesn't happen, where do we turn to? First and foremost, I think it's worth it. I think Nico Williams right now is one of the top talents as wingers. I mean, we can think about Lookman, we can think about Desire Due, we can think about the likes of Garnacho, or maybe the likes of Saka, but he is in that bracket. If Lamine Yamal is one of the most talked about wingers in the world, then Nico Williams is one of the best wingers that are not talked about enough. And I think there is a point there. So I think he is really good. He can improve Arsenal. Our problems with low blocks, mid blocks, and a little bit of slow play can be improved or worked on when you sign a player like Nico. He's very quick, he's very agile, and his passing is okay. His Spanish, definitely his passing is going to be okay. I love the way he behaves in front of goal, loves to score, can assist. He's not a selfish player. I think if you bring him in, he raises the level through the roof. It's just a question of how long do you wait until you move away from such a deal to this summer. I don't think we can afford to stay on a deal so long. If it's 3 months of a summer, we could have around 2 months or 1.5 to wait for Nico Williams before we actually move on. So I'm going to say this. If Arsenal can look to sign him in June and possibly in the first 15 days of July, and it doesn't happen, walk away. And these are my options. They might not be as good as Nico Williams, and obviously if you're on option, you're either good or not as good as the original thing. But they're options and they're really good. The first one is Ademola Lookman that we've been linked with, and we know that he's leaving Atalanta. He's also in the Italian market, so maybe our new sporting director, who is Italian, could actually do a job on that one. I'm not saying he's Italian and therefore every Italian deal on the market will happen. I'm just saying he's a good sporting director from Italy, and deals from Italy might not be a problem for him. But even if it doesn't happen, even if we don't get Ademola Lookman, Mikel Arteta himself, according to Fabrizio Romano, is looking at Bryan Mbeumo. I really don't understand the Mbeumo signing, and to some degree, I can understand Mikel. I really think that Mbeumo is a Brentford player, and I really think that he's already reached his peak, and I don't really feel that Arsenal need him. Like, if you really want to sign Mbeumo as a starter for Arsenal, that is a big, giant mistake. Now, he's got his advantages, played in the Premier League, proven, really scores goals, and I think Mikel Arteta likes him for that. He's a winger that can play around your center forward and score a lot of goals. He has stepped up really for Brentford after they lost Ivan Toney to Saudi Arabia, and his performances have been impressive alongside Johan Wissa. But I want to say this. If Bryan Mbeumo is the player we're looking at, then Arsenal are not really looking to improve from Sterling to a much higher level. We are just looking to stay mediocre. I think this summer isn't about adding the likes of Mbeumo only. It's about getting players that raise the standards through the roof. And one of those players could be Mohamed Kudus at West Ham. Now, if you're confused about Mohamed Kudus, you're not alone. I'm very confused about him too. Back at Ajax, we looked at Mohamed Kudus as one of the really top talents that were going to tear apart the Premier League if he joined. And when he came, he really did that job. But when I think about players like Anthony Gordon right now, I ask myself, is Mohamed Kudus that level? Because Anthony Gordon is such a disastrous, catastrophic winger. He's such a difficult player to deal with. And I'm so happy he didn't go to Liverpool last season, although they've won the Premier League this season. I hope he doesn't go there. He will make them a difficult place to deal with. Now, I really like Mohamed Kudus, and I know a couple of Arsenal fans do as well. So I want your thoughts in the comment box below. Do you think Mohamed Kudus would do a better job than Nico Williams? And is he a Mikel Arteta player? I mean, he's very versatile, can play in the 10 at times. I don't think he's that creative 10 like just Fabregas, but I think he can help us with mid blocks and low blocks. He loves to drive, and he's got the ability to do it. So I think Kudus, if Arsenal can get him, that's a very good deal. Anthony Gordon is one I've talked about, and I think if Arsenal can get him from Newcastle, difficult one as well, but he was moving last summer. So if Arsenal can look there to Anthony Gordon, I kind of feel like that would be a deal I would be happy about. Antoine Semenyo is one player that Arsenal really want. I have a list here, and I also have Simeon Adingra on it with Matthias Cunha. When it comes to Matthias Cunha, I kind of feel like he's more of a 9, but his versatility would help Arsenal. Antoine Semenyo has been tearing it up at Bournemouth. If they can really settle for around 60 million, that's a deal Arsenal should do. And with Simeon Adingra, I really like Yankuba Minte. But I don't think Brighton are going to give you Yankuba Minte, as this summer I really reckon they might lose Karo Mitoma. So if they lose Mitoma, they're not giving you Yankuba Minte, because Minte is going to be a replacement directly for Karo Mitoma. So I think Adingra being that second level player, he might come in at Arsenal and do a good job, in my opinion. So if we can get him, maybe as backup for the main guy, that might actually be interesting. Hit the like button. Let me know in the comment box below what you think about the Nico Williams deal. Is he worth waiting for? How long should Arsenal wait for? And if we don't get him, where do we turn to?